There is a woman in Kanazawa who, 20 minutes before a friend is due to arrive, does something that has almost nothing to do with cleaning. She is not scrubbing the floor. She is not wiping down the stove for the third time today. She walks slowly through her small apartment carrying a shallow basket, and into that basket go things that, an hour ago, were simply part of her home. The half-used bottle of hand cream by the bathroom sink, the stack of mail on the kitchen counter, the frayed towel hanging by the shower, the charger cable curled beside the sofa. One by one, they disappear into the basket. The basket disappears into a closet. The closet door closes. She isn't hiding a mess. There was no mess to begin with. She's removing small distractions so that when the doorbell rings, the only thing her guest notices is the feeling of being welcome. And somewhere else right now, in an apartment exactly like yours, someone is doing the opposite. 20 minutes before a guest arrives, they are racing through every room, throwing things into the nearest closet, shoving shoes under the couch, spraying something floral over a smell they don't have time to actually deal with, just hoping that nobody opens the wrong door tonight. What if the difference between those two homes has nothing to do with how clean they are, and everything to do with 12 quiet, almost invisible things that one of them has learned to remove before a guest ever steps through the door? By the end of this video, you will know exactly what those 12 things are. And the 9th one is going to surprise you, because on the surface, it seems to break one of the oldest rules in Japanese life. Stay with me, because that's the one most people get completely backwards. Before we get into the list, there's one thing almost everyone gets wrong. These habits aren't about making a home look perfect. They're about removing tiny moments of discomfort before a guest ever notices them. In Japan, that idea has a name: Omotenashi. You'll see that idea appear in every habit we're about to explore. Now let's begin. The first thing removed is at the door before the guest is even inside. In a Japanese home, the Genkan, the small entry space where shoes come off, gets reset before anyone arrives. Not swept once a week. Reset. Shoes that usually sit scattered by the door are lined up or put away entirely. A pair of clean guest slippers is set out, facing the right direction, waiting. Here's why this matters more than almost anyone realizes. The first few seconds inside someone's home shape how relaxed a guest feels for the rest of the visit. A cluttered entryway signals, even subconsciously, you're stepping into chaos. A clear one signals the opposite: we were expecting you and we were ready. That feeling gets set in the first 3 steps. Everything after it is just confirmation. The second thing removed is hanging in the bathroom right now in most homes. The towel everyone actually uses, the one with the faded color, the slightly rough one that's been through 100 washes, disappears before a guest arrives. In its place, a different towel. Fresh, soft, sometimes never used at all, kept specifically and only for visitors. This isn't about pretending the worn towel doesn't exist. It's a small, deliberate signal. You are not an inconvenience we are managing tonight. You are someone we prepared for in advance. Guests may forget the towel itself. They rarely forget how that small gesture made them feel. The third thing is in the kitchen, and it's the one nobody likes to talk about. The trash can. Bins get emptied, not only to control smell, but because a half-full bin sitting in view is a visible record of consumption already finished, mess already made and not yet dealt with. A guest is never meant to look at what you've already used up, only at what's freshly ready for them. Our brains are naturally drawn toward unfinished things. Remove those distractions, and attention quietly returns to the people in the room. The fourth thing is something you can't see at all: scent. Before guests arrive, strong personal smells, perfume worn since morning, the heavy trace of whatever was cooked an hour ago get aired out rather than masked. A window opens for a few minutes. Nothing gets sprayed directly over the problem. The goal isn't to make the room smell nice. It's to make the guest forget the room has a smell at all. When nothing calls attention to itself, the person you're with naturally becomes the focus instead. The fifth thing is something almost all of us stop noticing after a while: a stack of unopened mail, bills waiting to be paid, letters you've been meaning to deal with for days. They slowly become part of the background until someone else walks into your home and sees them immediately. In many Japanese homes, these disappear before a guest arrives, not because they're embarrassing, but because they quietly invite someone else into worries that were never theirs to carry. This isn't secrecy in a sinister sense. There's a concept called Enryo, a kind of restraint, the instinct not to place your private weight onto someone else's shoulders, even for an evening. A guest sitting at your table should never accidentally see the envelope that's been worrying you all week. The sixth thing is something most guests notice without ever realizing they're noticing it. Most homes that welcome guests don't strip every photo and keepsake from the walls, but they do something quieter. They reduce. Where a shelf might normally hold a dozen small personal objects, mementos, half-finished projects, photographs from 5 different years, it gets simplified down to 1 or 2, chosen deliberately for that day. A single seasonal flower instead of a crowded display. It's the same idea behind a traditional Tokonoma. Not empty, intentional. Because when fewer things compete for attention, the person sitting across from you quietly receives more of it. The seventh thing belongs to the family pet, and it gets relocated, not hidden in shame, but moved. Food bowls, litter trays, leashes, the small physical evidence of an animal's daily life, shift out of the main room a guest will actually sit in. The pet itself is often still there, loved, introduced at the door. The pet isn't the distraction. The reminders of daily routines are. Removing them helps the room shift, if only for one evening, from everyday life into shared company. The eighth thing is something most people would never think to remove because it isn't really an object. It's evidence. Evidence that effort just happened. A host who has spent 2 frantic hours preparing will often instinctively want to mention it, to apologize for the mess that was, to make sure the guest understands how much work tonight took. In many Japanese homes, that instinct gets quietly suppressed instead. In Japan, there's a word for this: Yoyuu, the appearance of ease, even when real effort made it possible. Here's why that matters. Visible effort creates a kind of debt. A guest who senses exactly how hard you worked feels obligated to acknowledge it, to apologize for the trouble, to feel slightly burdened by gratitude before they've even sat down. Removing the evidence of effort isn't dishonesty. It's a small gift, freeing the guest from owing you anything at all for the rest of the night. Now we reach the 9th thing, the one that seems to contradict everything Japanese culture teaches about waste. At least that's how it looks at first. Flowers. Specifically, flowers that are still alive but past their best days, drooping slightly in a vase on the table, get replaced before guests arrive, not with anything elaborate, just something fresh, even a single stem from the garden. At first glance, that feels wasteful. Japanese culture is famously built around Mottainai, the deep discomfort with wasting anything that still has use left in it. A flower that's 3/4 wilted still has life left. Throwing it out for a fresher one looks, on the surface, like exactly the kind of waste Mottainai exists to prevent. But it isn't, because Mottainai has never meant hoarding things past their purpose. It means honoring what something is for. A flower sitting in a guest's line of sight exists to mark this particular gathering as worth noticing, tied to a separate idea, Ichigo Ichie, the understanding that this exact meeting will never happen again in quite this form. A tired flower marking a moment that will never repeat isn't thrift at all. It's a missed chance to honor that moment properly. So the wilting stem isn't wasted. It moves somewhere quieter to finish its life, a windowsill, a smaller room, while the fresh one takes its place where the guest will actually look. The 10th thing surprises many people because it isn't about cleaning at all. It's about something far more personal. Medication left on the counter, reading glasses with a prescription label, anything that quietly broadcasts a private health detail gets put away before a visit, not out of secrecy, out of a simple instinct toward dignity. A guest doesn't need to know what you're managing today. Hospitality isn't about hiding vulnerability. It's about choosing connection before explanation. The 11th thing is something many hosts believe makes guests feel more welcome. In many Japanese homes, it does the opposite. A table set for guests in many Japanese homes holds exactly what's needed for that particular meal. No extra dish left over from yesterday lingering at the edge. No unrelated object competing for space with the food. It's the same principle behind intentional emptiness, applied to a tablecloth instead of a room. What isn't there matters just as much as what is. And the 12th thing isn't really an object at all, it's your attention. Think about the last time you were telling someone a story and they glanced at their phone for just a second. They probably still heard every word, but something inside you immediately felt less important. In many Japanese homes, phones disappear the moment a guest arrives, not because technology is bad, but because attention is the final gift a host can offer. You can remove every object on this list. But if your attention never arrives, none of the others ever really mattered. 12 things. None of them about hiding who you really are. All of them answering a single quiet question. What does the person in front of me right now, in this exact unrepeatable visit, actually need from this space before they even know to ask for it? The woman in Kanazawa with her basket has never once called this a system. To her, it's simply what having someone over means, not performance. Preparation made out of care, invisible the moment it's finished, exactly the way good care is supposed to be. Tonight, you don't need a guest on the way to try one of these. Walk to your own entryway. Look at it the way a visitor would see it in the first 3 seconds. Clear it. Notice how different it feels before anyone else ever walks through the door. Not for anyone arriving tonight. For yourself, the next time you walk through that door tired and need somewhere calm to land. If this changed the way you think about what hospitality actually means, share it with someone who panics every single time they hear a guest is on the way, scrambling, apologizing, never quite believing their home is ready enough to be seen. They may only be a basket and 20 quiet minutes away from finding out it already was.